6 best of 3s down, and that means 2 more to go. It is time for us to focus on the lower bracket match of Group D. I am joined by the lovely Todd and Carson. Todd, my resident human versus human expert, you're here to save the day. Talk to me about Human Mirror for 12 minutes.
Human Mirror is a lot about maps, where certain maps will encourage, especially with mercenaries, will encourage more creeping mercenaries first because they're pretty good in Archmage against Archmage scenarios, which is most of what we see, and then that encourage expansion a little more. So like Echo Eye, Last Refuge, top of that list. Other maps usually devolve very easily into breaker wars. So one base breaker against one base breaker, and then you expand on tier 2. You just stay on tier 2 for a very long time with a lot of priest breakers and all that. I find the expansion games more fun personally because it's more micro-oriented. You see castle play, there is more diversity, but it really depends on how they feel about breaker wars, what kind of map they want to try and play against one another. This is two players that really don't know each other very well either, right. I'm assuming.
All right, Carson, I'll get to you real soon. We want to hear from you guys at home, of course, who you guys think is going to take it. Will NA truly be #1? And if you do think that, I think hashtag KRI for Cruncher. That's what I'm going to go with. Or will it be hashtag SOK if you think that our Korean human player will turn things around? I don't think he played a bad series against Happy Guys, especially that second game. I think he played amazing. He basically did everything right up to the point that level 4 Archmage went down on the right side. But that was a good showing. And if I was Cruncher, I'd be a little concerned about going up to such a strong player in the lower bracket round 1.
Absolutely, yeah. This is going to be a tricky match, and it's a tricky matchup. It can get very, very chaotic, especially if there is those fast expansions that Todd mentioned. It can get like one player is very, very aggressive, one player is very, very passive. You have split pressure on the peasants. A whole lot of peasants die in this matchup, maybe more than any other. So it can get very crazy, which might actually favor Cruncher in a way if he can keep it weird and all over the place. Maybe that's what he wants here.
Scrappy perhaps is the key to victory then. Let's go ahead and take a look at the head-to-head. I don't think that these guys play against each other a whole lot, right, Carson?
I don't think I've ever seen them play each other. Yeah, there it is. They've never played in a tournament on ladder, maybe a few times, but not that I can honestly remember.
What do you think favors that, Todd?
I think there is a lot less content to study on Cruncher because in the NA region there is not really any humans, I think, from what I remember, that played in DreamHack and that played against him. So even like there wouldn't even be old VODs. There should be no VODs period for a very long time. Whereas for SOK, he plays against humans here and there, against Chemical sometimes, maybe sometimes against Fortitude as well. And most of those games were like breaker wars. There's definitely some trends you can pick up on, creep routes that you can analyze and try and counter going into the series, so that might favor Cruncher a little more, I would say.
Carson, as the resident NA expert over here at the analysis desk, obviously we talk a lot about Hitman, and Hitman has already made it into the playoffs. But Cruncher did win the Katowice edition, basically the big final of NA a little year ago. Even though ever since then, more focus has once more been on Hitman. But does Cruncher get underrated?
Yeah, he's the eternal regional champion. That's what we call him. He's forever the best player in the Americas because of that grand final. But yeah, you know, I think Cruncher, the question is for him, how much has he prepared in this matchup? I think he was putting a lot of effort into the Verse Orc matchup, especially practicing a lot with Hitman recently. So I don't know how prepared he is just for Human Mirror in particular. And especially if there is some new meta, Cruncher, you know, practicing really heavily the past couple weeks, but not necessarily in the last 6 months or so. So if there is anything new creep routes, of course, new maps as well, he could be thrown off by something.
Todd, as a fellow human player yourself, have you been impressed by Cruncher's play when you watch him play?
Of course. He's definitely one of the guys I look up to. Always doing really well despite not practicing the most necessarily. Now I hear that he's been preparing quite heavily for this event, so that makes me very excited. I did catch a little bit of his series against Soin, unfortunately not successful there, but it's a very different matchup. Now in Human Mirror, I legit think that he has a chance. The vetoes were very interesting, by the way, because SOK vetoed 2 maps with a mercenary camp, so he doesn't seem to want to play this kind of game. And he picked Norther Isle, which is a map without a mercenary camp, whereas Cruncher picked Last Refuge. So he seemed to be the one to embrace more, perhaps getting those mercenaries and maybe expanding on top of that.
Yeah, I think Last Refuge is generally a map that's pretty good for expansions just because, again, those mercenaries, and you can get a very quick level 3 creep route as well. So maybe that's actually what Cruncher's skewing towards.
And if it is going to be a 3-game series, that obviously means that the final game will be played on Tidhunters. Would be lovely to see it. Obviously a big series for both of them. Just winning this, whether you get out of this group or not, is a big deal. You guarantee yourself $1,500 extra. But of course, if you win it, you keep that dream alive of making it into the playoffs. It is time for us to get our talent predictions in. And you know what? Since Neo made fun of me for not going for the hot takes, I believe in my fellow old school StarCraft 2 player, smiley face, 2-1 Cruncher. Carson?
Completely agree with it. I got to go with my boy. I got to go with my teammate. 2-1 Cruncher as well.
You and Melo?
I still think Sock is a level above, especially like he faces great humans all the time, so that should play in his favor. I think Sock's going to win 2-1. It's going to be close.
I mean, I would love to see it. Obviously, this is a big moment. This is the first time we see Cruncher, but if he does not come out victorious in this best of 3, it's also the last time we see him, because obviously the opening match was played at the same time as Happy's opening match. And as much as we would love to show you guys 10 best of 3s, that's just not quite possible. I'm pretty sure DreamHack would get in trouble here. We have got people working on cameras and everything. The days are long, but we can't make them that long, Johan.
We can do whatever we want. This is our show as far as I'm concerned. So far, everything you asked for, you've been granted, Roddy, so...
You as well. You as well.
Throwing me under the bus like this.
Are you exposing me right now for asking our talent manager to buy me Pokemon cards?
Yes, I'm just the mediator here.
That has
That's what
happened,
I am.
guys.
I meant about the show, but sure, you did that yourself now.
Yeah, I did do that, and I got my cards. So far, no luck. Anyway, let's go ahead and see what you guys voted for at home. Do you believe in the power of North America, or do you guys think the Korean human will get the job done? Ooh,
wow.
That's one of the more one-sided predictions I have seen so far in this tournament. Carson, where's the NA love, mate?
I think that's fair. There's probably a lot of Europeans watching as well, so people don't tend to have a lot of faith in us over in Canada and America, for good reason at times. But I would give Cruncher a little bit better odds than that, but definitely not too surprising.
Todd, you're the human expert. Do you have any final thoughts before I throw it over to the casters?
Well, obviously, items going to be very important, but I think creep routes. That's really where both players need to be absolutely on point. Cruncher needs to have excellent creep routes. Good scouting to counter the opponent's creep route, like when he's going to hit timing. And yeah, I think, I hope he plays expansion against expansion and we can get to find out who's better at that style. At least on Last Refuge. Northern Isle is going to be a tricky map as well, especially with the items in the start.
All right, love it, guys. Thank you so much for your input. It is time for me to finally, because I feel like they barely cast it together, throw it to the Golden Boys of Back to Warcraft. Have fun with some Human Mirror.
Long have you waited, Neo and Remo activated! Hey, buddy! It's good to see you.
It's finally time. Finally, we're gonna have a cast together, and in our favorite matchup, Human Mirror.
The Human Mirror! We love it! The Breaker Wars! We love it! Come on, can we get some tier 3? Can we get some epic Knight and Mortar action?
Moon and Lawlight showed how amazing mirror matches can be, and that's when it deviates a little bit, when it gets a bit weird, when we just don't always go with a pure standard. We start off here on Northern Isle at the bottom left. One of the last hopes of America is Cruncher.
Unbelievable that you don't introduce them as the one and only and eternal American regional champion. But alright, good luck next map. For the Africa Freaks on the upper right-hand side, it is the Warcraft B-Boy. It's Sock.
Northern Isles is one of the maps where seemingly we kind of know where the match is supposed to go, right at the beginning. Gonna go to the Tuskar camp first and then move on from there. Expanding here is a possibility, but normally only on tier 2. I wonder if one of these guys is gonna surprise us here.
I guess they're already surprised to have a Human Mirror because it's such an interesting fact here that Cruncher, of course, everybody talked about it. There's no real human in the Americas region. His last Human Mirror was 2 months ago versus Todd, actually. But also for Sock, kind of interesting, his last Human Mirror is also 2 months ago. That was against Chemico, and while historically Sock has a better record against Chemico, that is a thing of the past. So not the greatest track record for Sock in this matchup either. No game tape for no one.
Yeah, which is kind of weird, right? One would assume there would be lots of things to study, but we'll see. I think, of course, Sock having more competition in the Human Mirror department is considered to be the favorite here, but these top humans, Chemico and Sock, they don't seem to be so bulletproof anymore. Thinking back to years past, Infi and TH were always insanely good in Human Mirror. It was oftentimes hard to tell why exactly. It was like this nebulous thing, but in the end they always ended up winning. Unless they played against Fortitude, but that was a different story. But Sock and Chemico, they might be more beatable. Cruncher, one of the most talented players in the scene, but doesn't put in that much practice. Is that going to backfire on him?
Well, I heard for this event he practiced quite hard, and yesterday he was a little, 2 days ago, he was a little bit of the talk of the town when people saw him on ladder, where he took maps off of Moon, for example, which is not an easy thing to acquire, as we saw earlier today. But yeah, today, not the greatest start. Maybe it's the nerves. We saw epic last hits from So in there that can derail a series very, very easily. So hopefully we'll see the real Cruncher in the micro department, and maybe even with an element of surprise. He had some time to think about this one, and hopefully he came up with something great.
Sock with the new meta approach on level 2, running across the map right away. Not too long ago, in Human Mirror, one would always expect level 3 creeping first, and then we go across and look for some shenanigans. But nowadays, especially the Asians like to be much more aggressive, as we see here. Cruncher is creeping up to 3, but is getting pressured in the main already. That could be painful. He's going to have a big experience lead, but the economy is going to suffer.
There's no Arcane Tower. Relatively easy. The footmen are entering, and yeah, good luck defending this. And now, Cruncher also in his winner bracket match. He was in for some greedy creeping and got punished for that, and it seems like this is happening again.
Not warding off the main, also a bit dangerous if the AM can run in like that. Of course, Sock also needs to be careful not to be stuck in there with his Archmage. Oh boy, that's okay, good deny there. We're going to look for the silver lining if we can, but that tech is going to be so much later. In fact, Cruncher has enough resources to start the tech, but I think he wants to make sure as well he has enough peasants to arrive on tier 2.
You want some silver lining? You get some silver lining. 3 sick denies by Cruncher, so having this XP gap now and Sock not getting the experience from the workers is actually the biggest advantage that Cruncher has.
Yeah, big experience lead indeed. Can Cruncher look for the counterattack? We've seen that against Undead, for example, in the past. At the beginning, you suffer, but then with the level 3 and level 2 Water Elementals, level 3 Archmage, level 2 Water Elementals, you can look for an impactful counterattack. Sock's experience starting to become a bit worrying. Can perhaps use some militia creeping across the map. Looking for more kills in the main, more peasants going down. Staff back from Cruncher, wants to finally clean up this attack.
Needs to. Was maybe a little indecisive, was far up north, then walking back, then staffing back. Forces the town portal. The tech lead, of course, massive for Sock, and he's pretty close to a couple of good spots that he can creep now, and then he can catch up in XP, and then we probably have an even game in that department. But how is Cruncher supposed to catch up on the tech and the echo advantage?
Going for the boots, 3.5. That is certainly a strong Archmage. If he can perhaps attack now before the footies are all healed up, that might be the window back into this game for Cruncher.
Yeah, he's expecting his opponent already at an even greedier creep spot at the natural, but he's not there yet. Is the timing still as great as he needs it to be? Fireballs needs to cancel the healing, and he gets the job done on 2, 3 footies. Strong water elementals coming in, but can he enter that base?
Arcane Tower starting to burn him. No MK yet. A little bit low on gold right now. We see Sock, but now MK finally starting. All right, another time's ticking. Cruncher can only stick around for the next 50 seconds because once the MK is here, he has to fall back.
Yeah, he could of course go for a Tavern Hero. Sometimes we see a Panda in this matchup to catch up in time because that of course doesn't require the Altar build time. But I don't know, man. In this matchup, should be Mountain King, Mountain King. Next question, of course, is anybody expanding on tier 2?
And normally, if you have a bit of a lead, you will oftentimes like to do that. Sometimes also there's a bit of a gentleman's agreement where both will just agree to passively or pacifistically rather expand on both sides. Is there a clear lead now? That's the question. Of course, the tech was faster, but then again, the Archmage still only 2.6 for Sock is starting to be, you know, certainly a bit underleveled.
And good investment by Sock also into the double arcane. He knew that the water elementals will be strong. But that's of course money you're never gonna get back, and that is stationary and you can't move it around. It won't help you in the fights.
Naga.
Whoa!
What?
Okay, that is of course a Tavern Hero. That doesn't require any building time, but that's risky to say the least.
And he's going tier 3. Oh, I like this. Cruncher. He went for a Shredder, by the way, so he's got all the lumber in the world. Naga, good right now for pressure. Look for some kills. In a Breaker Mirror. It's close to the worst hero in the game.
Yep.
So he can't go into that. And, you know, I'm a big fan of tier 3. How is he going to make it work, though? That's the big question.
I think the Naga, as strong as she is right now, can buy some time. And that must be the time that covers the tier 3 tech. You shouldn't give Sock the entire map, especially not the middle. Then the Mountain King is rising up to surreal levels and just gonna storm bolt you and everything you build. So you need something to contest, and Naga Fork Lightning against Priest can do something in the late game as well. I don't hate it. I'm very, very happy we see a tier 3 attempt.
In this little exchange, the MK seem to be putting out more damage and managed to get more kills with a Storm Bolt, even just level 1 Storm Bolt. The Naga, perhaps the best thing about her is she's very unreliant on mana. She's always going to have cold arrows. Not as good as Storm Bolts, of course, but this MK is going to be limited by mana. We have level 1 Brilliance Aura only so far for Sock, and he's finally going to get level 3 AM. Water Elemental picked right away. I was thinking maybe Aura, but no.
No. Man, 8 minute, level 3. That's really late. Cruncher making strides towards level 4, which is then, of course, level 2 Brilliance Aura. He's still gonna go Priest despite the level 4. We have Protection +4. Yikes. And Sock is eventually getting the better half of the map in the middle. Mountain King rises up. That's level 2. Goes for the boots, as the Naga has them herself. Could be dangerous.
Gonna be a big item here for him. That Invul Potion gonna be secured for Sock. Doesn't perhaps need it that badly, with there being no MQ on the other side. But it's still, of course, always nice. So is the Robe of the Magi solo experience for the MK. The Naga not creeping up so fast herself. And I wonder how she's gonna fare in this late game.
Yeah, is it just me, or did Cruncher not getting punished for this tier 3 yet at all? Pally is coming, Priest Adept is coming, Knights will be coming. Lacks the Workshop, I think? So no Mortars at all? Is it just Knights Priest?
Are under attack.
Yeah, that should work out very well against the Breakers, of course. Sock could easily expand now if he wants to. Cruncher is still far from ready to fight. Yeah. This is what will oftentimes happen. If a human player in the mirror goes for the tier 3 rush, then can just simply go for the tier 2 expo as the other human, and there's nothing that can be done about it. And if we look in the north at the gold mine, we see that is not actually happening. Only one peasant over here.
He's taking to castle as well. Remo, is it Christmas? We're getting our wishes fulfilled.
That is exactly what I love to see. Breaker Mirror can be a little bit, you know, one-dimensional in terms of the unit composition. Stormbolt flies, Priest dies. When the unit is stunned, you cannot load it up, so that's why this one falls. And the MK level 3, so strong now. Sock seems to have the stronger late-game heroes.
True, but he doesn't have a Paladin yet, and his own Paladin will come late, so maybe the stronger Holy Light, maybe an earlier Devotion Aura. It's good upgrades there from level 2. And AoE against Priest is not too bad either. He has no breakers, though. That might be a reliability. Sock can steal Inner Fire, and Sock can use Slow.
Yeah, exactly. And we've seen how strong Slow can be against bears time and time again, since time immemorial, pretty much. Against Knights, we don't get to see it too often, but there it's just as good. The Knights rely on the move speed to catch up to the targets. If they're slowed, it's going to be a different story. And the Breakers are always going to make sure that the slow lands on Cruncher's side. So how is he going to deal with that now? It's going to be the next piece of the puzzle for the American.
That piece of puzzle, this item here, doesn't really work out too well. Hit of Cunning, a little bit of damage for the Naga, but of course you want an aura here, that's for sure. Griffin Aviary. Oh!
I like what I'm seeing. I like what I'm seeing.
Well, you're not a fan of the NA region then? Because that is on a hard counter hard. That's what Chemico did against Hawk.
Crunch. All right, listen.
Yeah.
Just go tank, barrage, anti-air.
Against Griffin.
Yeah.
Are you mad?
Just need to extend the fight for 4 minutes.
Do you have fever dreams?
How
recently?
hard can that be?
No. Oh boy. Yeah. There was some game tape by Chemico against Hawk from this Monday's ESL Cup, and
oh yeah, there was this crazy game on was Last Refuge or something, right?
And there was a lot of Griffins.
That was wild.
And on Hawk's side, there was a lot of Knights, and guess who won?
The Knights won, right? Because of gyros or something in there.
No.
Something like that?
No. But in that game, there was a Panda involved, so the Breath of Fire.
Yeah, the gyros
all the
failed.
gyros.
True.
That won't happen here.
Oh, focus fire on the Pally. He should have Divine Shield. Forced to use it, maybe. Naga putting in her right clicks. But man, the effect of the Naga just seems so laughable compared to the enemy side. TP out by Cruncher. He knows the next Stormbolt is ready to fly. Doesn't lose anything there.
Cruncher needs to scout these Griffins ASAP. Second Aviary coming. Stormhammer's already... Oh. Is he wanting to expand?
It looks like it. Sneaky play, cute play by Cruncher. He's going flying machines. All right, since there's no panda, could
Yeah.
these gyros work out against the Griffins?
Yeah, I agree. That might work well. He could go Panda third, but level 1 Breath of Fire is not really the biggest deal. Inner Fire is coming. That helps, of course, as there's still not too much to spell on Crunch's side. But things might be getting wild.
Where's the Griffin Aviary?
At the X... Wait. Is it in the middle of the...
Oh! Proxy aviaries! Sock trying to dodge the scout. How sick is that?
That's pretty sick. Oh my god. And he's getting the red spot as well. Does he see it? Does he move it to the north?
Oh, he didn't.
He has no clue.
He didn't see it. That's a proper sag for all the NA fans in the chat. As the Mountain King is gonna get level 4 here, so will the Archmage, and he gets a wonderful item, Django.
Yeah, and that gives, of course, more movement speed, and that means flying away and kiting is easier. It already is, even against gyros. Yeah, clock is ticking. Cruncher, he has... The anti-air he has is Water Elementals, Archmage, Naga, and Priests. And that's not good.
Sock is up by 15 supply.
That's also not good.
With a hard counter. With a double hard counter against Knights.
That's twice not good.
Griffins and Sorks. Alright, Cruncher, it's time to play the game of your life here. Oh, and he keeps making units with heavy armor.
Yeah, mortar teams, they can't shoot wide, but they can shoot high.
Yeah, they kind of shoot in the air, right?
I guess they...
Maybe if you could do a skill shot, like, you know, if you hit the Griffin, the damage should connect.
You should do that, you should be able to do that with Flare upgrade. It's my next balance idea.
And then
What do you think?
they're all gonna be burning?
Yes.
Alright, sounds good.
Thank you.
I like it. But Sock doesn't know about the Expo. If he just pokes here a little bit and falls back and Cruncher has enough time, this could still work out. Like the Zeppelin, it looked wonky, but the Zeppelin with the peasants kind of is working out. But where are the Griffins? When's he gonna reveal them?
Yeah, they're coming. See that? Aren't they? No, I don't see any shadows on the map yet. Here they are. Okay. And if that's just a little poke, I think Sock is underestimating his strength here, because he's gonna smash Cruncher through the next wall.
Oh boy, the first knight goes down real quick. Level 1 Holy Knight not good enough to save it. Saves that one with the staff, but no staff on a long cooldown. 45 seconds. Inner Fire, Griffins.
Yep.
That's proper scary.
That's just unbeatable, isn't it?
Oh my god,
Nice
the Motor team.
dispel.
Motor team. Yeah.
Which water team?
Goodbye. Oh, okay,
Oh.
nice Holy Knight, you know. He's doing his best to keep these alive, but he's just been out-countered in so many ways.
Hard out-countered, that's for sure. The few gyros there are, he's taking them out with storm hammers. That's very, very easy to do. Just click on them once and they're gone. It's a little magic trick, see?
And there it goes. That Shredder also could be finished off quickly. We even have the one of the wind coming in. A Shredder is destroyed. Paladin barely surviving. A lot of things are low for Sock. Can Cruncher hold? Just with the few units that he has.
Oh, he needs to do some massive damage, but how? He has no damage dealers at all. Trying to aim for that hero focus on the Mountain King, but I guess there's the staff should be ready.
Oh.
Footman saw the expansion as well. The economy is getting wrecked too. And yeah, Sock can just easily play this from here. Has all the advantages in the world.
Yeah, the only hope he had was the expansion up there mining. Those 2 footies going to put an end to that advantage to that mining. 68 against 48 supply. Knight stuck on the wrong side of the base. It's a rough game for Cruncher. Cool attempt. I like the inventiveness of it. But Sock with what hell of a reaction.
Really, really cool. Of course, he talks with Chimiko a lot, good friends, and that they came up with this new solution in Mirror to go for the longest tech tree when for such a long time was just tier 2, tier 2, tier 2, tier 2. It's beautiful to see, but Cruncher apparently didn't see that game on Monday. Should tune into Back to Warcraft a little more often.
That sounds like a very good idea in general, I think.
I think so too.
MK, a bit low now, but there's no Stormbolt on Cruncher. It's so easy to play around these hero-focused targets. There's no huge nuke coming in. Yep, Fog Lightning maybe, but that doesn't stun, and the Naga doesn't have mana anyways. GG called, 1-0 for Sock. Good performance. Gets off to a hot start with that harass and never lets go, right?
Yeah, I think this was not gonna say decided very early on, but he got that advantage early on. It's a lot about tech timings, and that of course involves economy. If you have a good economy, your tech is probably gonna be a little better. And Cruncher is sticking to his guns by creeping greedy. And this might be figured out by now.
Yeah, perhaps a bit stuck in the old meta. As mentioned before, nowadays when we look towards the modern styles of Asia especially, the level 2 aggression is much more often seen. But maybe map 2 is going to be a way different story. We're going to have some highlights here coming in. It's going to be a lot of highlights for Sock. The Sorks especially, being so impactful, so strong.
Yeah, if there's no spell, the Stork initial spell is just super powerful. You get a lot of control, and then you have, of course, a Mountain King to have even more control, and there's not much to do about it, except if you have, like, 2 staffs or whatever. But yeah, the Neckbreaker was Griffins without being properly scouted. Super unlucky by Cruncher to not scout that position. But why would he scout that? Usually, there are no buildings there. Proxy, Sock, that was pretty smart. We give these guys a little bit of time. We give you a little bit of time to stock up on snacks. We're going to be back with map 2 in just a bit. The NA region in high spirits yesterday after Hitman made a top seed out of the group. For the rest of NA, doesn't look too good. Insup already out. With a good performance though. For Cruncher, not looking great at all.
Yeah, it seems like in many of his matches also we got a glimpse earlier at Soen. He always seems to be getting answered in whatever he's doing. Sock had the answer there, gets the 1-0. You know, all of our players at the very least got one map at least. We hope for Cruncher that's also going to be the case. Let's start with map 2. In the bottom left, in the red, from South Korea with a 1-0 lead is Sock.
And it doesn't matter how this game ends, he will forever be the DreamHack America's regional champion of the world, is Cruncher. Well, Remo. Let's see what we get here. Last Refuge. What's different on Last Refuge than on Northern Isles?
Last Refuge is one of the few maps in the pool, has a very accessible Merc camp. Especially in this matchup, normally Merc camps will be crept first on both sides. That giving mercenary support to the player on that side is going to be a great defensive bonus, which means if you fast expand, you're going to have a very good chance of holding. And that means that in this matchup, normally the meta is fast expansion on both sides.
True. Mercenaries, fast expansion. Sometimes we see pandas here on this map. And sometimes tier 3. And sometimes more griffins. Hope Cruncher is a little more aware of that possibility now. Soen is waiting in the lowest final for the last remaining spot to the playoffs. Who's going to make it into the top 8 of the world? One of these guys could still keep the chance alive. Cruncher is facing elimination though. Both with an Archmage, of course, in this matchup. That is set in stone since the beginning of time.
All right, Cruncher. Let's see a good start for him. Creep, the Merc camp, Zoe Mask, or Robe. One of those two. Please, nothing else. Blizzard, one of those two, please. And then a couple more claws, gloves, and then we can go into this mid game.
You're talking to Blizzard. You think there's a guy pressing the buttons, dropping every single item in this game?
Well, Neo, you know, if you've seen the last couple of patches, you know that I am the Blizzard Whisperer.
Oh, you're finally admitting it! It's today the day! Oh, hallelujah! Clip it, boys, clip it. But yes, Shadow Priest not stolen. It's a lot about items here. Cruncher wasn't too lucky with those on Northern Isles.
Yeah, time to turn it around now. Both are going for the Merc camps, as was to be expected, and these items can really have a huge impact. So we mask for Sock. What does Cruncher get? Flute. All right. Both very good. Flute especially amazing for Breaker Mirror.
Exactly. Also for Mortars later. For Water Elementals, of course, right now. Tome of Intelligence also to boost that damage a tiny little bit for Cruncher. Maybe that will result in creep speed. No signs of an expansion yet, except the additional farms on both sides. Wonder if one of these guys decides to be ultra aggressive because they found a good item now.
I think at the very least it's going to take level 3 first, set up the expansion, and then some brawling might break out. Going back to the green, gloves, circlets,
Town is under
decent
siege.
items so far across the board. I felt like for a while we were cursed with rings. There were like 5 rings in one game, but none so far.
We're just saving the damage for the playoffs, Remo. You know, the glass cannon build is always the best. But yeah, it is an expansion for Cruncher. It is an expansion for Sock as well. Cruncher with an early defense. And you know what? On this map against the Mercs, I really like that.
Very early indeed. And yeah, it's going to be a big, big help. Question is, how problematic is that going to make his number situation? Oh, look at that.
Look at the claw.
Claws of attack. Very nice. +7 on the Archmage and increased attack speed. Pulls back the peasants. Crunch deciding not to expand.
That explains the early defend. Then he attacks and pushes.
Okay. Cruncher trying to get the strategic victory. Doesn't want to go into a straight-up mirrored game. He did that before already on map 1. He wants to come out ahead with his strategic choices.
Yeah, and Sock is looking at this position like, wait, there is supposed to be something here. Town portal home. If I'm not mistaken, Sock stole the Berserker.
Oh, he TPs without the footman. They're stuck in the north. They were out of range. The footies. Whoops.
A town is under siege.
Well, they're just scouting if it's a late expansion then. And be ready.
All right. And they're like, all right, boys, no late expo. Now we're coming back.
Vacation.
And there could be quite a few peasant kills. Good control here on Sock, pulling back those peasants as quickly as he can, but that's going to be at least 3. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. That could be all peasants going down.
Nice tactical decision by Cruncher, who shows that he has a big brain for Warcraft. Now the footies are coming in, of course. Big blunder by Sock, usually a world-class human player. That shouldn't happen to you. He can get some revenge kills, possibly. Of course, the piercing damage units don't hurt too much because of the defense. It doesn't break the expo yet.
Is under siege.
Yeah, I think the idea here for Cruncher is going to be get those priests and breakers up quick, go for the panda, and then try to finish with that tier 2 follow-up attack. Do as much damage as you can until then, lose as few footmen as you can, and maybe trade well with defend until then. Telly staff going over back to the expo. There's still a few peasants over here exposed, and the second base finishes only now, certainly delayed.
Tech is at 40%, I'd say. Cruncher is getting ready for a counterattack with an arcane in his main, but he's losing footman after footman, maybe using defend a little too long, not pulling them back quickly enough, but yeah, the peasants are, as so often, are just suffering. If the question is, what unit from Warcraft 3 would you like to be? Peasants, definitely the least favorite answer.
Yeah, if we do like a family feud kind of thing, peasants would be way down at the bottom. Who would ever say peasant? Not even Death Note.
Masochists, they're out there.
You know, Griffin Rider, that sounds good. You have a pet, you can fly around, you get some hammers. You got infinite hammers apparently stored in your satchel. Are we going to see Griffins this game? It doesn't seem likely. Cruncher needs to get stuff done on tier 2, and for Sock it's going to be time to defend soon because he knows tier 2 follow-up attack is going to be scary. Looking to be aggressive now himself, but I like the double arcane. Cruncher ready for this water elemental pressure.
Yeah, that was an investment, of course, but it was very, very likely to happen, and Cruncher built that way in advance. Like, this finished 40 seconds ago or something. So nice heads-up play. Sock, though, gets information, gets the tech timing, but is still under pressure here. Archmage has no staff, just boots. Gotta be a little careful of not getting surrounded or attacked by ranged units, but oh, gets the tower, that's big.
Yeah, it's going to make defending this expansion quite a bit more difficult. Daytime is about to hit, by the way, at which point the Mud Golem will become available.
Some big impacts earlier in the hot game, and here is the before-mentioned Panda, and life for the peasants is not getting better and better. I mean, there's going to be a barbecue, but they're definitely part of it.
Mud Golem also quickly sniped Cruncher with a few good moves here. The first flow didn't do much because it was dispelled through that Shadow Priest. The defense still helping out quite a bit, but Sock's Archmage putting in valuable right clicks as well. Both super close to level 4, and that is very important for both.
Remo, you were asking if there's Griffins. How about he starts the tier 2 tech first before we think about that? Because we are 8 minutes in the game, and he's not even close to having the lumber for that tech. Yeah. While we're getting priests, we're getting probably not the earliest breakers, because footmen are kind of a somewhat counter, but Cruncher is far ahead.
I'd love to see early Sorks here, because again, it's the same story. Cruncher could go for Sorks right now, because there's no breakers on the enemy side. Make 1 or 2 priests, but then into Sorks. That might be the right call. We see 2 priests right away. The Panda didn't level up to 2 yet. Archmage also not quite level 4 yet for Cruncher, which is annoying.
Sock the Madman has 3 Berserkers against Stephen Footman. It's also very, very expensive and will be a good experience. And especially the Panda is very XP thirsty.
Yeah, those Berserkers could backfire a bit later, but for the casters that are going to be coming, they're really good. If they're in range to attack the unarmored targets, it's going to make their life very difficult. Sock again, poking into the main, takes out the shop, and as we know, that means no more breakers.
True, but as we suggested, breakers should be a later addition when Sock has arrived on tier 2 as well. So I guess this is fine. Does hurt a little when you can't go for potions on the Panda maybe, or clarities on the Panda, which is probably necessary. Archmage finally 4, that helps for the mana regen, of course. Cool to see that Cruncher is not down after map 1, which was a very, very dominant performance by Sock. Mana health as well. Good strategy, but of course he's on the timer here, as his opponent is 1 base up.
Yeah, Cruncher, he needs to get some big plays in here very, very soon. Sock is starting to stabilize more and more. Once Sock gets to 60 supply with casters, this game is going to be over. Cruncher is on the clock. Now is the time.
How much damage can the Panda do on level 2? It's only Drunken Brawler. Lots of AoE damage. Tome of Retraining on Sock, Cruncher, super early. Is he willing to sing the Song of Ice and Fire here 10 minutes in the game?
Yeah, seems like he is. Wait, where's that tome?
Yeah. Tome of Retraining, upper right. Oh, what do you mean?
Yeah, okay. I just gotta. We were clicked on the other Archmage, and it took me a second. Militia coming in as well, thinking about perhaps setting up some arcanes, maybe a shop as well. But yeah, Blizzard to break the expansion. Not a bad choice. But Cruncher's army still looks so tiny, not even up at 50 supplies. Sock with so much gold in the bank.
Yeah, and he needs to protect these casters. Once the Berserkers are in range of them, probably gonna die. Panda should be going for that greater mana soon. Heal scroll still available for Sock. And the Panda's not level 3. That's the biggest downside yet. And the Storks are coming.
Close to that level 3. He wants to combine that with a big mana potion. The last chance for Cruncher. Tome of Retraining, we have the Blizzard. But that was the last bit of the mana for the Archmage. He can't cast another one for quite some time.
That was an expensive transition. 1 Blizzard for Tome of Retraining. There's still a big mana potion. We'll see what's he uses this on. Oh my god. I love this Alchemist pick. AoE healing against double AoE damage. Makes a ton of sense.
Yeah, very smart choice. He's got lots of damage, those Berserkers. Look at them just shredding through the towers. That piercing damage between Berserkers and Water Elementals. Pretty crazy. Level 3 Elementals, no less. And Cruncher, he might be seeing the last of his tournament run. Unfortunately, so far didn't win a map. He's been trying a lot of things. Strategically, very interesting. This lower bracket match for him. I think it's not going to quite work out.
With the help of the big mana potion, can the Panda turn this around? Maybe. The heal scroll timing by Sock really, really good. And the casters are all over the place. He needs to break through these Berserkers. There's no other chance for Cruncher, otherwise he's out.
Has to be so careful with those priests. They take just too much damage. Alchemist chasing kind of close to 2. Acid Bomb could make things even worse. Sock close to 2,000 gold in the meantime. He's got 1 Sanctum, 2nd Sanctum coming, casters on the way, and Sock is looking better and better.
He's doing still some damage to this economy, and the towers are hurting as well, but again, the mana on the Archmage, maybe that wasn't the right call. After all, losing more and more units, and these Mercs definitely paid off for Sock.
Yeah, absolutely. We see a good reason here why the defensive mercenary expansion play on this map can be so strong. Cruncher, with a valiant effort, tried to outsmart the opponent, tried to play a perfect counter build. But now it's not looking too great for him. 42 supply, pushing forward once again, using the Blizzard. Not hitting too much yet. The Watch Element in the front line, just providing the damage and the tank ability. Oh, that was a nice breath and Blizzard. Whoa, there we go. Level ups, all right.
Did we almost call this too early? Level 3 Blizzard is pretty good.
Mining prevented. Towers are standing. The thing is, Sok doesn't really need gold right now. He's got plenty of that already. And he's got breakers coming. Breakers who will not care too much about this Breath of Fire and Blizzard.
That's true. Buildings do, castles do, workers do. But if you have a big enough breaker front line, it should be it. It's only 2 Sanctums, I guess, so it will take some time. 5 breakers might be coming 3. He's still not breaking this. Like, mass repair. This is, of course, costing resources. This is pushing stock back a bit. But he's also level 5 on the Archmage. Alchemist is getting stronger and stronger.
Cruncher's super heavy on the priest, by the way. It's like 7-8 priests or something. The breaker front line for him, not that huge yet. Making a shop here once again in the south. Clarity is now going to be very valuable. As those running. Sok repositioning, going to take out that shop quickly, most likely. Not breaking into upkeep until now. Sok finally spending his big gold. Oh my god, the Breath of Fire Blizzard. Tons of damage. Sok definitely mispositioning his army right there.
Whoopsie. A little bit of an invite, but still 3 of the mercs alive. Water Elemental's getting sniped as well. Panda with a potion of mana. I think that is the right play. And heal spray, not for much longer.
Also only level 1 heal spray, not healing all that much, I guess. Water Elemental summoned again, but with this amount of priests, Cruncher does have enough to dispel all that. Would be a sick comeback for Cruncher. Can he do it? He certainly has to break the expansion and has to do it sooner rather than later.
Great fighting spirit. He's trying it all. This is, of course, the last chance for him. This map cannot be lost if you want to prolong your tournament life. And finally, he is able to break the towers, but I see it's also triple sanctuary, so production is accelerating. Sok will soon be at 66, and then he's 20 supply up. That expansion definitely paid off.
Yeah, he's just gonna let it go. Seemingly doesn't want to fight into this crazy AoE at the moment. He got double heal scroll already, and he's calling militia into the north. Might just be expanding up here now while gathering up more experience. Alchemist with the Legion Doomhorn, great find. That's even more AoE healing, just a little bit at least, and gonna get that important level 3.
On the other side, red spot for Cruncher. When will he switch his army? Like, into breakers himself? He's trying to, I guess. Panda level 5 would be amazing. Medallion of Courage also not too bad. No aura, of course, but more mana, always good. No Mountain King in a human mirror. That's an odd side, by the way.
Yeah, it's been a fun game, though, so far. One more item for the Alchemist. From creeping, also, Sok has gotten quite a bit of gold. Right now, super broke because he's power building the expansion. Top left once again, and the next encounter is going to be happening in the middle. Sok, does he feel ready now to take this fight? He's got the breakers. They are magic immune, and they don't care about the AoE.
Yeah, you should never go for a straight-up fight. Like, that's impossible. Now that the Expo is broken, maybe you can just TP out. Try to stay in no upkeep and get some more creeping done.
A town is under siege.
Sok is expanding upper left though. So he's again on a timer. There might be potential, like a little tiny bit potential for a Zeppelin play. There's not much anti-air. So Zeppelin, drop into the Expo, cast Breath of Fire, Blizzard. Or, you know, just walk there.
Yeah, could also perhaps hit the main at the same time, although that would be difficult to pull off. Sees the Expo, good read by Cruncher. It wasn't so easy to predict that there was going to be an expansion up there. Manages to force the cancel. But still lots of gold on Sok and a much bigger army, of course. Cruncher having a bank himself, but no tier 3. If he had tier 3 and knights coming, that would be the counter he needs against these breakers.
Yeah, but this will take 2 minutes plus. Control magic makes no sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no summons.
True.
But you know, Luca was buying dust when there was nothing to be dusted, to be revealed.
Yeah.
Here is control magic, just in case there is another Tome of Retraining.
Exactly. Like, you know, sometimes...
Be prepared.
Sometimes in life, exactly. You want to be prepared for all options.
Yep.
You want to cover your bases. You want to make sure you don't get caught off guard, right? So, we'll see if that comes into play. Double heal scroll now. Sok moving forward, still with a much bigger army. And those breakers that looks so threatening.
Yeah, I really like that Blizzard a little better than Breath of Fire to reach the back line, but of course it's kinda easy to move against that. Priest can't be reached, especially not in that needle hole here. And Cruncher is pushed back once again. Sock knows this is his time with the Breaker Wall. I guess he's establishing another expansion bottom right. Oh, yeah. All saturated again. So Sock on 2 bases. There we go. Fortifies it up once more.
It was never killed, right?
Yes.
It's half HP.
Yep.
Cruncher never actually took it out. But the IM again is going to be able to find some good damage in here, but suffering some structural issues himself in the main. Panda moving forward. Level 3 Breath very strong. So is the level 3 Blizzard against everything but those breakers.
Cruncher trying to make NA proud, trying to get as much kills as possible with Mass Telly, and then base raise something might be doable. Panda 6 would be insane against breakers as well. And man, Blizzard wrecking buildings, but he doesn't hit the workers that are repairing. Oh, can't get surrounded here.
Gonna have to TP out maybe. No, with the boots is actually fast enough. This Alchemist also with the boots. Speedy! I wonder how fast it's gonna be with Chemical Rage. Don't think we're gonna see it though.
What's the way out for Cruncher? What's the way to tie up the series and survive a bit longer?
In this potion, I think that's the right call. You have to be sneaky. You have to be crafty in this kind of game where you're very clearly now behind with the Breaker army that you're facing off against.
Yeah, not only Invis Potion, also Staff to get out without a town portal. Could get a lot of value off that. And Sock, you know, he would love to flood his triple sanctum, get a lot of production in, but he has to constantly reproduce breakers. And Cruncher smartly realizing there's no disable. You can't stop the Staff.
And here's a Zeppelin. All right, Cruncher, I think that's what he has to do. Zeppelin drop into the main, kill peasants there, Archmage at the expansion, something like that. Mass Teleport seems to be a guarantee at this point, and maybe Panda level 6? Cruncher, if he wins this, he's gonna have the respect of the global Warcraft scene forever. This would be one hell of a comeback.
Damn, he would have a lot of stuff forever. The regional championship and the respect. Oof, that's a lot. Anyways, he has to do it first. I would love to see... Oh, no, the zap! Oh, no, the zap! No Hindenburg here. Was only the Archmage. Anyway, but Sock knows now. He can prepare for that. Upgrades on the tower. I don't think he has a lumber mill. I'm not 100% sure. But the Panda... Yep. Let's grill these peasants. They're all lining up in a cone. Ah, here are the splits.
Very nicely done. Ends up killing only 2 of these peasants. Archmage in the main. Yeah, that's the play. That's what Cruncher has to do.
Yeah.
Get 1 kill after the next, be as annoying as you can.
It's the peasant farming simulator up to level 6.
Even the humans know that the way to victory is killing peasants.
It is really easy, so why not? Always look for the easiest way out, everybody. To be honest, this is not going to be easy.
Yeah. He's gonna have to do this for a lot longer, get a lot more damage in before he can really win this game through a fight. Main base for Sock should also expire soon. In fact, it just did a moment ago, and that means Cruncher has no more income.
And Sock, he knows he just has to be defensive. At some point, Cruncher's main will run out, and then what?
All right, here we go. Are we really gonna have that big fight? It doesn't seem like Cruncher can take one. Oh, the Priest caught out in the back. Acid Bomb hits him. They have to reposition. They're not healing right now. Sock's positioning way better at the beginning of this fight. Gonna take out 1 breaker, one that cannot be remade. Cruncher, no income. As we said, 80 supply. Huge army here for the Korean.
Yeah, but Cruncher's not willing to go into a fight, and why would he? He can't win, so... What to do? Long distance mining with 1 million peasants. What a Congo line that is. Archmage Panda back at it. Panda needs a tiny bit of XP for that level 6. Look at it. Just 37.
2 or 3 more peasants should do it. There's one right there. Oh! All getting saved towards the expansion. Also, this heal spray looking really good, even in this late game. One more breaker getting... Oh! Saved! Not caught! That's Zeppelin on point.
Constant dripping. Where's the way? The stone! And there's the quad kill. Mass teleport. Cruncher, your chances to win this just got a lot better as long as Sock can't follow you.
Now the game gets weird for Sock. Maybe he should split up his army. Cruncher now extremely mobile.
And the Panda might be getting these levels as well. Cruncher, of course, no income from the main base anymore, if I said this correctly. Nope, we're already the 24-minute mark. How long can he dodge these fights? 3,500 still for Sock at the Expo. Can Cruncher expand at some point? I don't think so. It's just 94. But in the base, a breaker sneaking in. And I guess we're officially off to a very odd base race.
Yeah, Sock saying at this point, you know what, whatever, I'm not gonna run after you, you can just always escape. I'm just gonna go for the building elimination. Kill peasants on the way if I can, of course. But then it might be all down to base race. But Cruncher, he might be able to win this. He's got Blizzard and Flame Strike.
It's
Blizzard and Breath.
amazing versus buildings. And on the other side, Sock has Water Elementals with piercing damage. Not too good versus Fortified. Alchemist doesn't do anything against Fortified. And yeah, Breakers. And Breakers are not really known for their high DPS.
Yeah, against something with mana maybe, but buildings don't. Unless you're called a Moonwell.
Do they do extra damage against Moonwells?
I don't think so. Patch, please.
Question for Yanis Canis, of course. Yeah, this officially got super weird. We got a 30 supply lead for the Korean, and he is about to lose this game. Somewhat. Kind of. Maybe.
This is so weird. You know what? We're just gonna take the ride, see what happens. The priest getting caught. That doesn't feel good. This is the long-term sustain for Cruncher, and these might all be falling. Running back to the main with his main force.
Kingdom for a Zeppelin right now. Breakers wouldn't be able to attack it. Panda is back home in Vis, interestingly. So trying to block the way out or something. Okay, needs the Drunken Brawler damage, I guess. This shouldn't matter too much for Sock. Damage is done. Oh,
Catching 3 breakers. Wow. That was a triple surround, basically.
nice.
That's pretty sick. That's a lot of experience.
That one's for the highlight reel. And yeah, we're still looking at the XP graph of the Panda. Level 6 Earth, Storm, and Fire. We're all waiting for it.
Down to 44 supplies, Cruncher, but the supply gap has kind of been closing, I guess. Sock at 65, lots of gold. No lumber for Sock anymore. The peasants in the main have all been getting slaughtered.
Yeah, that means, of course, not much repair possible. 500 gold, can always go for items. We haven't seen it mass teleport in a long time. And of course, that means no pressure on Sock's base, which is the win condition for Cruncher.
Sock again, pressing forward, looking for that fight. Alchemist ready to throw the acid bomb. There we go. Boink! Onto the IM Zeppelin, barely still standing.
A player's forces are under attack.
Okay, Sock gets the Water Elemental. More experience.
He's got only one priest. Only a single priest is left for healing. Ooh, and that one needs to be saved. Barely it does survive.
Okay. Yeah, you can't build a shop to do anything. Mass Telly, but Sock portaling home.
That should be the Zeppelin going down as well. And he's splitting his units. The Breakers coming in for the intercept from the other side.
Uh-oh.
Cruncher can still mass teleport out in a moment. It's a very low cooldown.
Oh, Zeppelin is at 15 HP. One more shot and he dies. Can he get a triple surround as well? He gets one. Oh, not even. Had a chance for 3. But in the end, only 1. But that mass telly didn't really work too well anymore.
One more block, one more kill. And the supply dips again. 42 now for Cruncher. We see where the Zeppelin is, the one priest. The only passenger on board. It's the VIP in first class. It must be protected.
Well, it's kind of a hospital Zeppelin because that priest sure doesn't look good anymore. And so does the tournament live for Cruncher as the Alchemist finds him. Acid bomb, one more right kill. Right click for the kill, and that's now level 6 for Sock. And now he has Mass Telly as well. He can always respond to this. And I think Cruncher is about to type the last GG of his DreamHack run.
Seems like there's nothing possible here for him anymore. The only hope, perhaps, is the Panda level 6. He needs a few more kills. With the right target fire, he gets the Watch Elemental. That's not enough. He needs a few more breakers as well, but it's so damn many breakers. Cruncher taking lots of damage in the meantime, calls for a GG 2-0 for Sock. Cruncher is out, and Sock will move on to meet Soen.
Yeah, Cruncher will forever be the America's regional champion, but on the grandest stage, on the world stage, the global stage, wasn't meant to be. Eliminated, 4th position, and Sock gets the Korean Derby for the last remaining playoff spot against his good friend Soen.
The first time we don't have the rematch, so no curse will be applicable here. Wonder what we're going to be seeing there. Who's the favorite there? Hard to tell. We have one slot left open for the top 8. It's going to be one more human or orc to finalize our quarterfinal match.
That will be a banger match. These guys know each other inside out. And of course, we have to hear from Roddy, Carson, and Todd about this match. It was a good one. It was a fun one. Get it, boys.
We'll get it for you, Neo. It was a long one as well, especially that second game. But in the end, our Korean human player will advance to the absolute last match of the entire group stage, where he will duke it out with our orc brother, Soen. But first, we're going to talk about is the... I want to say TVT. Humans vs. Human real quick with Todd and Carson. Todd, especially in that second game, you felt that Cruncher had an excellent start. Where do you think it started to slip away from him?
I think he maybe didn't play aggressive enough.
Yeah, I think the main thing, it really came down to that tier 3 tech. Like, when he didn't see the Griffin Aviaries and he wasn't able to counter them, I think there was 4 to 6 Griffins before he actually found them.
That was game 1, of course. I just asked about game 2. But game 1 was actually a very close and competitive game. And I love that you pointed out the Griffins, because that was definitely the play of game 1.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was a very tricky fight at the end once the Knights all fall. And then, of course, going into game 2, I mean, what do you even say about that game? That was just absolutely absurd. Cruncher really tried to hold on there, and that was a very tricky mid-game with the double staff. But
Todd, you should have a working microphone now, so talk to me about game 2.
I think he should have played a bit more aggressive earlier, because he had Sanctums going up before the tech of Sock had even started. So that's usually a position from which you can just wreck the opponent by pushing non-stop. Every time the opponent engages into you, you kite all the way back, and you're kind of saving everything thanks to your priest. But maybe the triple berserker, which by the way you never ever get to see, like a player have triple berserker like this, was the difference maker for Sock, where Cruncher thought he couldn't push in. But I do think if he had a few sorceresses, he might have been able to break through. I didn't like the retrain, because I know that you can then just go into mass breakers, and then we weren't seeing Blizzard do anything anymore at this point. So I think maybe you shouldn't have retrained. But it's something where, like, if you're watching the game, it's so easy to see. Like, if I'd be playing, I'd probably get crushed in like 5 minutes. So, you know.
I mean, the only note I really took is human units not so good, mercenaries excellent. How am I doing, Todd?
They're a great help in the starts, but yeah, obviously it's more about the priest and breakers later on, but the berserkers help for sure.
Johan wasn't a big fan of him retraining to Blizzard. How did you feel about it?
I think it kind of gave him a win condition at the end. I think when he initially retrained, it maybe wasn't the best choice right there. And normally we see, honestly, a Blood Mage to try to break that fast expansion. So you have a lot of water elementals and then eventually Flame Strike. But obviously later on, the Blizzard and the Flames and the Breath of Fire was the only way for Cruncher to win with the building elimination, which he couldn't scrape together. But I think later it was good, yeah.
And obviously one key question, since the casters did mention it a little bit, like he broke the expand, he killed all the peasants, he was able to kill the town hall, but he didn't want to waste too much time on killing the town hall, because he knew that Sock was already creeping to the top left. He's like, I'll creep my red camp, but shouldn't he have just finished off the town hall, or would that have made no difference?
I think, yeah, I didn't even notice. I think you were the one to notice alone between everyone watching that game that the town hall wasn't dead. I think that is a pretty big mistake, absolutely. When you have the Breath Blizzard combo, you can kill it in 2 seconds.
What do you say, Johan?
Yeah, I think so. I think he definitely should have finished that. I was actually surprised he let it survive for this long. Maybe he thought, oh, if it stays there, there's more peasants to kill later on. But later on, Sock did such a good job defending that position. Once there is Blizzard 3, Breath of Fire 3, no peasant should be alive on the map. But somehow he was zoning out this army perfectly every time that Cruncher was moving in position. Sock was punishing by killing units left and right. And well-deserved win for Sok. That was really solid.
And that was fun, and Cruncher did obviously show us some phenomenal moves, especially the triple surround on the breaker was sexy. But unfortunately for the American hero, his journey ends here. That means it's time for us to wrap it up, as it's been a long day, but of course we've got one more best of 3 to go, the absolute last match of the entire group stage. It's going to be a good old Orc versus Human, Sok versus Soin after the break.